What's going on, everybody? Today we're going to go through some of the frequently asked questions about Kratom, or FAQs. Some of these are some of the most common subject lines of videos that are on YouTube today, and in other cases some of these are comments or questions that we've received from viewers on our channel, which has just gotten started, so we're absolutely grateful whenever somebody reaches out with a question or comment. I'm going to start it off from the top. Where is Kratom illegal? Currently, there are 6 states that have banned Kratom: Rhode Island, Alabama, Wisconsin, Arkansas, Vermont, and Indiana. Those states have banned Kratom. They've done this a long time ago. There's a fair chance that if you live in one of the states that were not listed, at some point in time, a policymaker will attempt to ban Kratom. These bans almost always get shut down by the American Kratom Association, who will put forth the Kratom Consumer Protection Act. That is a game plan to make sure that all the Kratom companies that operate inside and outside of that state do it ethically and engage with the customers in a beneficial way. I have no fear that Kratom is going to be banned anytime soon. As a matter of fact, I do think that some of the 6 states that I just mentioned should be reversing those bans maybe within the next year or 2. We hope. Fingers crossed. When a state bans Kratom, what's really unfortunate is that the consumers who are using Kratom as a tool to improve their lives end up having to leave the state, drive cross country, purchase their Kratom, and risk breaking the law by bringing it back into their state. We never recommend that. We are aware that that's a very common trend. I'm also aware that there are police officers in the state of Arkansas who drive across the border to buy their Kratom. So I think that in some cases, the state officials are not a fan of these bans. Moving on to the next question. How long does the Kratom high last? I get asked this all the time. I hate calling it a Kratom high because I do believe if you take a Kratom in a small dose, you're not chasing a buzz and you're using it as a lifestyle product. To answer the question directly, you can expect to feel the effects of Kratom anywhere from an hour and a half to 4 hours. It's all going to be dependent on your tolerance, how much you take, what your body weight is, and how receptive your body is to Kratom. So you can expect Kratom to last anywhere from an hour and a half to 4 hours. It might be a little bit more, it might be a little bit less. Next question. Is Kratom habit forming? If you guys are watching any of our previous videos, you'll notice that I have mentioned we're one of the few companies that sells Kratom that actually states that it can be habit forming. How habit forming it will be depends on the type of personality. As someone who's used it for 10 years, I can tell you that my world does not stop when I take a tolerance break. I actually have a personal story with caffeine that's a little ridiculous. At one point, I was drinking 2 pots a day, so when I did come off of caffeine, it took me several weeks to get over the withdrawal. With Kratom, worst case scenario, I might have a little bit of a headache or a stuffy nose if I don't take any Kratom, but I've been consuming it for 10 years. My body is accustomed to having Kratom in its system most of the time. This is going to tie into the next question. Can I be sober with Kratom? My answer is no. If you're a person who is sober, who has been sober, who's struggled with a drug or alcohol addiction in the past, you don't need Kratom. That voyage of sobriety is special, and it's something that I respect. So unlike some of our competitors in the space, one of them being responsible for a very popular Kava Kratom shot, whose name I won't mention, they actually got into some legal trouble because they advertised their product as essentially a sober way of life. And unfortunately, some former addicts got their hands on the product and it caused them to develop an addiction to Kratom. That is not how we operate. We will never advertise our products as sober or not habit forming. We always request that our customers do a little research and engage responsibly with these products. Moving on to the next question here. What are the positive effects of Kratom? I want to focus on something that's a little bit more upbeat. For me personally, this is my experience. Kratom helps boost my mood. It reduces my aches and pains, and it gives me a little bit of extra energy throughout the day. I'm not taking what's considered a large dose of Kratom. Large doses tend to be more relaxing and sedative. I'm taking more of a mild to medium dose, and so therefore I get the mood boost, I get the energy, and I use it as a productivity hack. I'm sure some of you may remember the movie Limitless, where the main protagonist of the movie takes a little pill that unlocks a different part of his mind, and he makes all this money and does incredible things. Kratom's not on that level, but after that movie came out, millions of people were looking for some sort of productivity tool, a nootropic, something that would help boost their productivity or their effectiveness throughout the day. For me, My limitless pill is Kratom. I'm obviously not making multi-million-dollar stock picks taking Kratom, but it definitely adds value to my life. So the positives, just to run it back, definitely helps with aches and pains for me. Gives me a little bit of energy, helps me focus, boosts my mood. It's a great pre-workout. It's awesome with my cup of coffee in the morning, not 2 pots a day. And it definitely helps me put some pep in my step. What drug class is Kratom? This has been a hot topic debate for a long time. Many people stating that Kratom is not an opiate. We are of the school of thought that Kratom is considered an opiate. So that right there stigmatizes Kratom, and that's what sends people in the opposite direction when they hear the word opiate, because they know that America has struggled with an opiate epidemic over the last 15, 20 years. I want to make one important distinction. The difference between Kratom and the vast majority of other opiates is that Kratom does not suppress the respiratory system in the same way that something like Oxycontin or heroin might do. So in that sense, you're not going to have somebody take Kratom and their heart rate will slow and they'll stop breathing, etc. So that kind of eliminates the majority of the risks associated with classic opiates. Not all opiates are bad, just like not all stimulants are bad, okay? Cocaine is a stimulant, but so is caffeine. Nicotine is a stimulant, but so is amphetamines. One of the most commonly prescribed amphetamine stimulant class drugs is Adderall. Millions of Americans who have ADHD are literally taking an amphetamine on a daily basis. While Kratom is an opiate, I do think it is the lesser of many evils. That being said, it's not without risk. I say this a million times, I'll say it a million more times. Do some research and tread lightly whenever trying a new product or a new substance for the first time. This is the next question. It's actually very hard to answer. What can you not take with Kratom? I'm not a doctor. I did not go to pharmacy school. What I will tell you is that everybody's body is a little different. If you're 5'8" and 350 pounds and you take 5 medications that were prescribed to you by your doctor, you should ask your doctor, hey, I'm thinking about taking Kratom. Do you know what Kratom is? If they don't, they can do a little bit of research and tell you whether or not there's any interactions between the drugs that you're currently taking and Kratom. That's your best course of action. What I can tell you from the news articles related to Kratom deaths is that most people who pass away with Kratom in their system were also taking any number of other drugs. Most of the time it's illegal street drugs like fentanyl or heroin, but sometimes it's prescribed medications that were given to them by a doctor. These were people who maybe didn't do their research, maybe they were taking too much Kratom, or maybe they were taking the wrong types of medications. In most cases where Kratom deaths are reported, I would say 96%, if I'm not mistaken, had other drugs in their system. The 4% that's unknown, they didn't run a full toxicology report to see if there were other intoxicants in their system. Some drugs like fentanyl really don't require a large dose in order to kill someone, and it's very sad. Some toxicology reports are unable to find the trace amounts of fentanyl in somebody's system. Just to refresh everybody here, do a little bit of research with your doctor if you're on other medications, and if you're not on any medications and you're gonna try Kratom, for the love of God, please don't take an extract shot in one swig. Try something small, try a mild dose, and step in carefully. Pretty much covers this round of FAQs. If anyone has any other questions, you guys are more than welcome to leave a comment on our videos. We love that engagement. We love the support that you've been showing us so far. Please reach out if you have any questions. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed the video. Have a great day.